Evening everyone, Ragewood here, back with another Godforge video. Just going to talk about the quick elephant in the room, and I do not mean myself. We have turned our desk around, so no fireplace or anything behind us. No longer need to worry about seeing my washing. I have ordered a green screen, which I have down here, but what I didn't do was measure the wall behind me, so the tension rod I bought is too small, so do bear with us. It's taking some getting used to for myself as well as you, and we will hopefully get that screen up ready for streaming at some point soon. But anyway, enough about my setup. You've come here to talk about Godforge. Now, this week's video was a January Art Attack video, but we kind of already covered it. If you watch my previous one, where we take a look at the Friday stream that Hell Hades did, a lot of it we already covered there, but there were a couple of things that he showed in this one that we didn't get to see then. So we're going to go over those quickly, and yeah, hopefully should be a fairly short one today. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So just going to keep Simon muted for a moment during the beginning part. The cooler stuff, or the stuff that we didn't see, comes later on. I will, as always, put the link for the entire video in the description down below, so if you want to watch it without my spiel over the top, you can. Now, the start of the video is a little bit sad. He does confirm that the beta is actually more likely to be April, May than March time. Now, these things happen like any good road that was built. There are speed bumps along the way, which sometimes you have to take a step back and sort those out. So, whilst it is sad, as I mentioned previously, I would rather get a complete, smooth running game than a sort of half-complete product. Anyway, with that out the way, let's take a look at the two heroes that we didn't get to cover in the previous one.
There's one more 2D that I'm going to show you, but I'm going to save it to last because it is my favorite. Let me show you a couple of animations first. Okay then, so a couple of animations. I don't think we've seen this hero at all yet, but Tomo Gozen here, fully 3D, ready to go, being added to the game as we speak. So going to get the animations and stuff.
So just going to pause it there. In the last video, we didn't actually get to see this one. I had to zoom in. It was quite blurry. And I guessed that it was likely going to be Tomo Gozen. And here we are. We're getting pretty good at this guessing thing now, I must say. I've certainly got a few more right recently than wrong, so maybe we have finally figured out how to guess correctly. Tomo Gozen, as mentioned previously, kind of like the Japanese Mulan, if you know what Mulan is, female samurai, etc. Yeah, that's who she is, and she is looking very cool. Probably a rare hero would be my guess. But yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
In for that, but that's the 3D model. Right, one more to show you in terms of a 2D. It's probably my favorite one yet. Let's go through just a little bit of the lore of Izanami. So Izanami is a goddess of both creation and death in Japanese mythology.
Just going to pause it there. So I did a video a few weeks back saying these are like X amount of gods that I'd like to see in the Kojiki faction. She was one of them, so I'm super happy that she's come in. It seemed obvious, to be fair, between Izanami, Izanagi, and in the three sort of children, if you were the hero children, but you never know. Poseidon's not going to be there for launch. There was a possibility someone like this might not have been there, so I'm super happy that they are.
She is said to have died giving birth to one of her children, who Izanagi killed due to grief of losing his beloved. So some kind of like pretty dark backstory here in terms of her wiki and some of the stuff. You can see a couple of visuals in terms of, you know, some mood boarding, and I know the concept artist went into a lot more detail than this in terms of mood boards, but let me share with you our design here, which is super sweet, honestly.
I have to agree with Simon though. That is very sweet. When we saw the Onryo concept, the rare that came in, sort of in the kimono, she looked really sweet, and there was sort of mention there that there'll be something similar potentially for a legendary, and this might have been what they were on about. It might not have, but she looks really, really cool. But perhaps a little too pure for me, maybe. And I'll sort of explain why when we take a quick sort of step back into the lore. So I did call this out previously. Essentially, Izanami unfortunately died, and Izanagi went down to go and save her. And he went into the underworld, and she'd already eaten the forbidden fruit, very similar to the Persephone storyline you see in Greek mythology. And because she'd done that, she could not return. He took his comb out of his hair, lit it, and upon seeing Izanami, she had rotted away and all that, covered in maggots. And she summoned loads of I forget what they're called now, but she summoned some thunder deities and things like that to chase Izanagi out of the underworld, never to return. So as we see, he saw the horrid form of the once beautiful and graceful. She was now rotting of flesh and maggots and foul creatures rolling over her body. So yeah, very different to what I thought she was going to look like, but they're obviously taking it from the point of view before this tale happened. Although one thing you could say, she does look very pale, so that could be we don't know what her abilities are yet either. That is the other thing. She was a creator deity as well as sort of like almost like a Shinigami, like a death spirit. So it'd be interesting to see where they go, especially with the abilities and the VFX side of things.
So good. Yeah, man, I just love it so much. I just feel like the Japanese and Chinese cultures, they've got such great visual qualities in them. And it's so good to start to see some of these heroes coming through as well. So look, that is going to do it for today.
And that is it, boys and girls. To say a very short one today, but still some interesting things that we have seen. Now, I might end up streaming later this week, not for Godforge or anything like that, but actually for Raid. With the delay in Godforge and me, whilst having absolutely terrible luck with pulls and gear, I am actually having fun, so I might get back into streaming before Godforge comes out. Let me know if that's something you'd like to see, especially a bit of raid content. And yeah, look forward to seeing you later in the week when we see the Thursday podcast, and we'll try and get it out Friday, Saturday, something like that. Anyway, take it easy, look after yourselves, work hard, but as always, play harder, and I'll see you in another one soon. Cheers.